Hello everyone, my name is Nick Vegnier. I'm making this unique video as I would like to share with you an amazing story about how Aikido has been helping me. You see, I want to start by taking you back to a time when a simple sound, a ringing telephone, filled me with dread. As a teenager, I was incredibly shy, lacking confidence, and I carried a profound hearing loss. So imagine trying to navigate the world when everyday conversation felt like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. My old analog hearing aids were more of a hindrance than help. So taking a phone call, for example, would be a very challenging process. Forget about it. The constant whistling, the feedback, the struggle to piece together the fragments of words. My brain would desperately try to grasp the first, the middle, and the last word, when trying to decipher the speaker's meaning. It was an exhausting and tedious task every time the phone rang. And this went on for years until the arrival of digital hearing aids. For those of you who might not understand the difference between them two, it was like moving from a distorted, a muffled world to one of a startling clarity. With Bluetooth connection, the caller's voice came through both of my ears, not just one. So it was revolutionary. It allowed me to treat phone conversation also almost as if the person was standing in front of me. The anxiety around the phone calls began to recede, and with it, a small part of my fear. But while technology helped with the practical side, my deeper, confident issues remained. I was still that quiet, uncertain teenager inside. And here is the kicker. I was born in France, and English was my second language. So how on earth does a profoundly deaf, shy French teenager struggling to communicate end up becoming an entrepreneur in the UK? How do you master a foreign language when you can barely hear your own voice? You might be wondering, how did I pull this off? Well, in a nutshell, I would say the trigger for all of it was Aikido. Now, before you jump into conclusion, Aikido did not magically restore my hearing. No. It gave me something far more powerful, something that changed the very fabric of who I am. The inner strength, unwavering determination, laser-like focus, and the profound ability to stand up each and every time I fell. And believe me, there were many falls, both literal and metaphorical. Like many young boys and girls, I used to watch Bruce Lee films and I was mesmerized by them. I thought, I want to be physically strong, I want to be able to defend myself, but what I didn't realize that when you study martial art, true martial arts, they're not just about physical strength and fighting techniques, they're about building something far deeper, your inner self, your resilience and your self-belief. In the dojo, something incredible happened. I wasn't relying on my hearing. Instead, I was focused intensely on my vision. I watched every movement my teacher demonstrated. I relied on physical touch, sensing my partner, feeling the precise moment to roll when I hit the ground. This way of learning, of doing, felt incredibly natural. I felt at ease, completely whole. For the first time, I forgot I had hearing disability. I was progressing, often surpassing those who did not have my challenges. This was my pivotal moment. The realization hit me. I could do more. This was not just about Aikido. It was about rewiring my entire self-belief system. My mind had built invisible walls telling me I had limits. But here in the dojo, I was pushing those limits, bit by bit, discovering capacities within myself, new capacities. And what did I find at the root of those perceived limits? Fear. Fear was my real enemy. I was afraid to do more. But as my inner strength and confidence grew through consistent training, that fear began to diminish. Facing another phone call transformed from an act of avoidance to an act of acceptance, a challenge to be managed. Aikido taught me to understand my own strength and confront my weaknesses and manage my fears, allowing me to face what I was most uncomfortable with. You see, over the years, thanks to regular martial arts training, I gained confidence to move to the UK. I learned to speak and read fluent English. My determination reached a point where it stunned my hearing aid specialist, who genuinely thought it was some kind of miracle that I could speak so well in both my native language, French, and fluent English. Despite my profound hearing loss, Aikido gave me the profound belief that despite this setback, this disability, I would not be defeated. I would not be deflated by it. Instead, I would embrace it and push myself just as I have continued to do so to this very day, becoming stronger and better than I was in my youth. It's an odd thing to say perhaps, but at 52 years of age, reaching now near 53, while many sadly look older or are unfit, my daily practice of Aikido and Karate for the past few years has made me feel more active, more able. I feel physically very capable thanks to the mental focus and strength cultivated through martial arts. All these elements combined allowed me to continue to remain in balance with my body, mind and spirit. The journey in martial art is not just about physical activity. It's about adopting a disciplined mindset, remaining respectful towards others, staying humble, and being less egocentric. This last point is crucial. When you try or when you start to grasp things, there is a strong temptation to let the ego take over, to boast your understanding. But the true path is to remain constant beginner, always ready to adapt, to shift, to learn. When your body screams, I cannot do anymore, your mind through this training can influence it to go a little further. And in that extra push, you discover something profound about yourself that you did not know before. You thought you could not do it, but by demonstrating the opposite, you become powerfully aware that your mind is your most potent tool. You can use it to maintain your focus, to shift your mental strength and capacity to reach further than you ever imagined. So in my case, this mental focus has delivered so much that I've been able to surpass the serious hurdles of my hearing disability, to the point where many people don't even realize I have a hearing loss, because I seem to cope really well. A clear example of this is when I assist my teacher, Said Seba-sensei, by translating his explanation from French to English and vice versa. During seminars, many participants, I am sure, forget that I am actually technically deaf. Yes, I do read lips to help, but most will barely notice. This shows how immensely beneficial the serious study of a martial art can be done and can be for anyone facing challenges. It can become a powerful force, a great source to surmount any obstacle in life. Martial art is far more than fighting on the training ground. It is about equipping ourselves to fight the daily battles of life, the small ones and the big ones. It is a discipline that cultivates an excellent positive mindset, fostering respect, humility, and desire to serve your community. It is why I am sharing my story with you today, hoping to raise awareness and encourage anyone contemplating this path. Now, if you are considering studying a martial art or indeed embarking on any challenging journey in your life, please remember this, that there are no shortcuts. This will take time before you reap any rewards. Think of it like planting a seed. You put it in the ground, but you must water it regularly, consistently for the plant to grow, to push through the soil, to grow taller and stronger. This process takes time, and sadly many will give up at this stage, too impatient for instant gratification. It might take years for that plant to become a magnificent tree, and for that tree to bear fruit. But every single time you practice, every single time you push a little further, you are making that tree stronger, more beautiful. And when that tree finally bears fruit, it means you have reached a level where you can pass your knowledge to others through the teaching of what you have diligently learned, and in turn, some of your new students might plant their own seeds, following in your footsteps. You see, the study of any martial arts truly is a blessing. It's no surprise that in Japan, as part of their school curriculum, they have clearly understood the profound impact this discipline has on individuals, on communities, on society, and ultimately on the very fabric of a nation. Thank you for listening, and I hope my testimony will give you some inspiring moment to reflect and to perhaps think of embarking on a martial arts study if you haven't done so. Thank you for watching.